Welcome back, gamers, to Ultimate Epic Battle Simulator 2. And today we are doing another arena battle. We have 4 factions here, all missile units fighting against each other. First, we have 1 million redcoats of the British Army, 1 million Wehrmacht soldiers of the German Army, 2 million medieval archers, and finally, teaming up, 500,000 Thompson US machine gunners from World War II and 500,000 shotgunners from World War II. Alrighty then, gamers, what's going on? It's your boy DaleyTactics here, and today we're back in Ultimate Epic Battle Simulator 2 with every missile unit battle royale here. And I think this is probably going to be the side where the first shots get fired, and it looks like, yes, that is the case over here. The first shots of the battle are getting fired between the German army and the medieval units over here. Now, every soldier variant in this battle does have 1 million soldiers, except for the medieval archers, who have 2 million, because, of course, they are fighting against guns with bows and arrows. Not exactly a fair fight, so they get double the amount of soldiers. I am curious who you guys think is going to win this battle in total. Please be sure to comment down below. I'm feeling the German army. They've got Kar 98K rifles. They've got really good distance on those rifles. I think that they might just be able to take away this Dubsky. That's my opinion right there. Either way, I did think this would be a fun battle to do. We did every melee unit in the past, so now we're doing every missile unit. Minus, of course, the catapults as well as the Sherman tanks, because those units are just simply too powerful to have and make it a fair fight in a battle like this. I just don't think it's fair to use those, so I did decide to subtract those from this battle over here. Let's go ahead and check out the Redcoat Army over this way. Alright, we do have an engagement over here between the German Army and the Redcoat Army over here. Redcoats not really in line battle formation. That would be pretty cool if they just naturally formed into line battle formation during these battles. They're more scattered like the Germans are, but both sides are firing into each other pretty good here. I am seeing more blood on the Redcoats side, so maybe they're losing a little bit more compared to the German army over here. But let's go check in on the Redcoats versus the World War II soldiers over here. Alright, here we are. Redcoats versus, what are these? It looks like shotgunners, and are there any Thompson gunners on the battlefield too? Nope, this is primarily the shotgunners. The Thompson gunners must be on the other half of the battlefield over there, but they are working together under the band of the US Army here. But the Redcoats are fighting against a whole lot of shotgunners, and it seems like they're winning by a lot, actually. The Redcoats have way less losses here than the United States shotgunners, and that's simply due to the range the Redcoats have. The Redcoats have a lot beefier of range compared to these US shotgunners, but when the Thompsons get involved in this battle, maybe it will start going the other way around and the Thompson gunners will shred through the Redcoats. But I think the Thompson gunners are actually fighting the medieval army over here, so let's check that out. Yeah, so these are definitely the Thompson gunners over here for the US soldiers. Yep, there they are, and they are going ham on these medieval knights. Well, they're not knights, medieval archers, and we can see a lot of arrow fire through the sky here, going up against actual bullets. It's really, really tough right there. There are dead US soldiers over here. Oh, this is a mix of shotgunners and Thompson gunners. Okay, so it's a bit of a mix over here, apparently. But yeah, the medieval archers are taking so many L's right now. Even with double the amount of troopers of everyone else, they're just getting absolutely slaughtered, man. It is no bueno at all. Right now, I believe these are the teams. I think Team 1 is the United States, which has 140,000 kills. Then Team 2, I believe that's the Germans, I want to say? I think Team 2 is the Germans, who have 302,000 kills, which is a lot. And then Team 3 is definitely the medieval archers, and they have 8,000 kills, and they've lost 500,000 soldiers. Holy cow. And then finally, Team 4, I believe to be the Redcoats, and they have killed 200,000 soldiers. So, I mean, these ranged battles go so much faster than the melee battles in Ultimate Epic Battle Simulator 2. I mean, as you can see, folks are just getting cut down from a distance. in the blink of an eye. We have literally thousands of deaths happening before our eye right here. just crazy. Just the amount of slaughter in a second that happens on this battlefield is absolutely absurd. Ooh, look at this. They're getting up on these high points and firing downwards too. Yikes. How many, can we see the losses over here for the US? I mean, they've lost a few, but like not really that many. It's actually like astonishing how badly the archers are doing. Like even with bows and arrows, at least they're getting shots off, but the bows and arrows, they just don't do that much damage, do they? They really are not an effective ranged unit in this. Not one bit, even with 2 million soldiers. I mean, that being said, they at least have, wait, how many do they have? They still have 1.25 million, so they've lost 750,000, but they still have so many soldiers left. So, I mean, I guess if they can outlast the other units in this, they might be able to get a victory here. Here they are, still fighting the Germans over this way. Huge body mounds are starting to form up over here. And actually, they've been pushed back. This was their starting position over this way, and now they're pushed back all the way over there, and the Germans are coming forward. We do have a lot of dead Germans on the battlefield over here. I'd say more so than the dead US soldiers on the other side, but still, compared to the amount of medieval soldiers that are dead, it's just a moot point. It's not even comparable, man. It's not comparable. It seems like over here, the German soldiers are pressuring the Redcoats quite a bit over this way. The Redcoats have taken substantial losses as well. I mean, it's just muskets versus Kar 98Ks. You're just not going to end up doing super hot against that. You just really won't. So I think at the end of the day, we might have German soldiers versus US soldiers competing against each other. That might just be the end result of this battle, because the medieval soldiers are way too obsolete to be really fighting proficiently in this war. And the Redcoats, I mean, they're carrying their own. They're at least doing well. But same sort of deal there. You know, they're not exactly the strongest unit of the bunch. And speaking of the Redcoats not being the strongest unit of the bunch, over this way, it seems like we do have Thompson gunners finally coming through and supporting the shotgunners that were over here fighting the Redcoats, and they are starting to beat back the Redcoats at this point in time. I mean, in the middle here, there are so many dead shotgunners, but now that the Thompson gunners are arriving, the Redcoats are starting to get beaten back themselves and taking substantially more losses throughout this battle here. Yeah, they're starting to get butchered a little bit here. I'm thinking it's time for our first time lapse of this video, and why don't we do a time lapse of the archers over here fighting against World War II US soldiers. Let's try and get a nice bird's eye view, because that's what people seem to enjoy out of these. So let's do this and see how the medieval army does. Alright guys, throughout that time lapse, I noticed that the archers were just getting destroyed, man. And looking in the back of the battlefield, they went from this entire field being filled with archers to just having a tiny front line over here. Are they doing better against the Germans? No, they are not. Not at all. It seems like the Germans are firing at like a small, a very small amount of archers over here. Tiny, minuscule amount of archers who are just getting beaten down. So the archers are just about extinct. Actually, they only have 100,000 soldiers left out of a starting 2 million. It's like the fastest 2 million soldiers have ever died in Ultimate Epic Battle Simulator 2 for me. That's absolutely crazy. And as it stands at this moment in time, the Redcoats are also kind of getting the beat down on them. They're still fairly strong deeper over this way. Yeah, they definitely got a fairly strong force over here that they're fighting against the Germans with, but closer to the pyramids over here, they are getting whittled away at big time, big time, big time. Meanwhile, over against the shotgunners, I haven't checked this out yet, but let's look now. It looks like, yes, their lines are thinning against the Thompson troopers. Oh, wait, what? Wait, what about up here? Holy cow! Oh, never mind. They kind of won up here. Look at this. Look at all these Redcoats down here. They managed to kill all of these shotgunners and a mix of Thompson gunners too, and now they're actually flanking down low. So it seems like their lines are thinning down low here against these guys, but up top they managed to pull out a victory. I was not expecting that at all, and now they're running a little flank on these US soldiers down here and starting to chop them down. That's really impressive, actually. Okay, well done by the Redcoats, and they do have a solid presence still here. That's going to be able to hopefully defeat these U.S. soldiers, although it looks like the U.S. are getting some reinforcements down this way, and they've got a pretty good clump right over here. So hopefully they'll defeat them, and then I don't know if the Redcoats will then migrate these forces over to the Germans over that way, or migrate over this way to fight more U.S. soldiers. And these U.S. soldiers are strong. There's a lot of them because they were going up against the medieval units right now, who barely got any kills against them. In total, the medieval units have gotten, let's see, 35,000 kills. 35,000 kills is all 2 million archers managed to get. That's insane. I did not expect them to do this poorly. I thought at least they'd get 100k, at least, and that's a conservative amount, I thought, but only getting 35k? That's just impressively bad, really. That's like shockingly bad. Holy cow, they're still getting a couple of kills here, but just really not that many. That is terrible. That is really, really terrible. So these U.S. soldiers over here, I'm wondering if they're going to continue to pressure the Germans, because it looks like the Germans are starting to come down this way and fight against some of these U.S. soldiers. So I wonder if the rest of them in the back there will come up here to fight more Germans, or if they'll double back and go up against these Redcoats over this way. Either way, it does seem like the Redcoats are the only ones right now who have the high ground in totality over here. Oh, well, the Germans do technically have high ground over that way, so never mind, that point is kind of moot as well. I'm just trying to find any advantages either side has, because I really can't tell who's going to win this thing right now. I think the Germans have a decent shot. Seeing all of these Redcoats back here, I think they have a decent shot, and then there's so many U.S. soldiers over there, I think they have a decent shot too. So I really can't tell who's going to win at this juncture. I guess we'll let it run for a bit longer and find out. Okay, some more time has passed now, and we're starting to see where the battle lines are going to be drawn next. So we actually do have the Germans and the US meeting inside the pyramid area here, and I have to give it to the US. This was smart to gun it for this pyramid area first, because now they have the choke point here. Yes, they've taken some losses in doing that mad dash to this point, but now they have the choke point, and if the Germans want it, they have to get gunned down through these doorways to take it. That's going to be really, really difficult. So a great position there for the U.S. Additionally, up here, it looks like the Germans have been pushing pretty wholeheartedly against the U.S. here, but the U.S. is backing up their lines on the flanks now. It seems like most of that force is coming across over this way to help out. We even have a small engagement over here between Germans and U.S. way out this way. Both armies had to travel pretty far to get over here, but they did it. There are some U.S. soldiers, not a ton, but a good amount, going up against the Redcoats over here. It looks like they decided to not abandon their soldiers over this way and decided to reinstill some hope in them and reinforce, because this battle is not yet over here. We do have a number of U.S. soldiers still standing over this way despite taking heavy losses, and the Redcoats have been very slow to mobilize. They've still got a ton of troopers way back there that are still having to come forward this way to rejoin this line. So the Redcoats are kind of squashing their advantage over this way. Over here right now, the Germans are starting to encircle the Redcoats a little bit and eat away at this bigger line over here. Now it's costing the Germans quite a number of soldiers, and their lines are thinning a lot too, especially because they're trying to do that encirclement. So it's weakening their main line, but doing a little bit of a flank at the same time. It's definitely a precarious situation over here for the Redcoats, but it is hurting the Germans a lot in doing so. So that's where we stand right now. It's pretty interesting how this battle has developed. Still very unclear as to who the winner is going to be. As it stands right now, I believe the Germans, I think they're Team 2, still have 650,000 soldiers, so they do have the most soldiers. The US has 367,000 soldiers, and the Redcoats have 355,000 soldiers. So, you know, some pretty big differences right there, but the Germans right now are fighting on the most fronts, it seems. So really, it could be the Germans taking a lot of losses from here on out. We'll just have to see. I'm really hopeful about this pyramid defense over here for the US, by the way. This could be really, really cool. The US soldiers on this side are starting to fall apart a little bit. The Germans are just crushing them. It could be the high ground. It could be their numbers now, although the US did have a lot of numbers starting out. But the US forces over here are dwindling. And with that, they're getting less and less reinforcements down here in the pyramid to hold this area. They're still managing to get a lot of German kills at these entrances, but without you know, reinforcements, the Germans, with their staggering numbers, are going to be able to overwhelm them, I think. Down this way, we do have some more US soldiers coming around the pyramid to attack the Germans, and they've done a good job of cutting them up over this way. Now, up here, the remainder of the US force seems to be doing pretty well against the Redcoats for the most part. The Redcoats are certainly struggling to hang on to this battlefield, and their lines are thinning. If these reinforcements hadn't come over here for the US, I think these Redcoats would be doing a lot better. But since those reinforcements did come, the Redcoats have been getting butchered and butchered and butchered. And now let's check over this way and see what's going on over here with these Redcoats. So actually we have a small amount of Redcoats going up against Germans who somehow migrated all the way up here. That's kind of crazy. I'm surprised they didn't all go this way to defeat the last of these Redcoats. These Redcoats over here are still standing fairly strong, actually. I mean, they are just hanging on. Absolutely hanging on. They will not give up, and they've still got pretty good numbers up here, I will say. But the Germans are just really, really pressuring them by a lot on all sides. I am surprised by how long these Redcoats have lasted, but they're probably not going to last for too much longer, I think. After some serious time here, it's evident that the Germans are likely to win this thing. By the way, what's happening here? Are these Redcoats just invincible or something? Okay, maybe the Redcoats will win then. But either way, the Germans, they've got 420,000 soldiers left. The Redcoats, only 80,000. And the US, only 72,000. It is not going well at all for any of these sides currently. Well, except for the Germans. The Germans are doing great, basically. The Germans did end up taking back the pyramid here, and now they're running a flank on the last remaining US soldiers up this way. And then there's a few US soldiers up this way across the river here, which has dried up, it looks like. And they're fighting their way across for some reason. They should probably be playing defensively. Oh, look. They're just massively going south now. Interesting. But yeah, they're fighting up against a ton of Germans. Is there another glitched something over here? Yeah, there's a glitched US soldier here. Okay, I don't know what's going on with that. But yeah, right now it is definitely German domination across the entire battlefield. God, is it the late 1930s again? Oh, what, is this more glitches? Maybe not. Okay, that was weird how they were all fighting at that rock, but apparently it died, whatever the glitch was. But yeah, not a great thing happening right now for anyone but the Germans. The Germans are just dominating at the moment. Alright gamers, so the battle is over, but apparently there's a ton of soldiers still left alive who are just glitched. Like, you can see the weird fire patterns here from the Germans. The Germans did, of course, win. And now they're just shooting at glitched soldiers, which is very bizarre. Apparently some of them are still dying too. It just seems really weird. Oh, here's some US soldiers. Oh, okay, these US soldiers are firing actually at a glitched redcoat. Okay. And there's like a few Germans over here firing at the US, but then all the other Germans are stuck over here firing at glitched US soldiers, and then these Germans over here are stuck firing at glitched redcoat soldiers. So we're basically never going to get a conclusive ending to this battle due to that. However, it's very clear that the Germans won, considering there's only 17,000 US soldiers remaining over here, and there's 363,000 remaining Germans, and none of the Germans are going to come this way because they're all firing at glitched people over this way. So the Germans do definitely win this thing. The problem is the battle's just a little bit glitch. So the Germans ended up with 2 million kills, which is crazy. Meanwhile, the US soldiers ended up with 1.4 million kills, another crazy number. The Redcoats had 1 million kills, fairly impressive, and the Archers had 35,000 kills, not very impressive. So guys, that is going to be about it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching. I really do hope you did enjoy it. Please be sure to hit that like button if you did, subscribe if you haven't already, and comment down below if you'd like to see some more in the future. I'll see you on the next one. Peace! I hope you guys enjoyed that video. Be sure to click that subscribe button for more content, and hit the notification bell if you'd like to be alerted to whenever I live stream or upload. Thanks so much.